Jiggy cat on a damn feeling spree. This is Nagato, and you can't mimic my energy. 100 round drum and me hanging like a centipede. Hey everyone, it's me Nagato's Adventure. Hope you guys are having an awesome day for today, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be talking about my personal top 5 favorite PlayStation Vita homebrew applications, and I'm going to be stating on why these applications, in my opinion, are must-haves for anybody who has a modded PlayStation Vita or a modded PlayStation TV. One thing I do want to stay out the way as well, just for a disclaimer, this isn't really a showcase in terms of how to install these homebrew applications or like a tutorial installation guide. Rather than this is just a preview / showcase of these homebrew applications itself. What I will do though is have every tutorial that I have for these guides in the cards, as well in the link in the description down below. So for example, if you're interested in one of these homebrews that I'm talking about today, you could go ahead and look in the link in the description down below, and as well I will have a video for that, and as well to add on to that statement, I will have everything in the link in the description down below in terms of the downloads for these homebrew applications. So if you already know how to install homebrew on your PlayStation Vita and you're interested in this, everything will be in the link in the description down below. But with that being stated all out the way, what I'm going to do is just showcase a synopsis for each homebrew and just state on what they are exactly, so everyone's on the same page. And then what I plan on doing is going to the PlayStation Vita and then just previewing on these homebrews and just elaborating on why, my personal opinion, that I usually use these on a day-to-day basis when I'm on my PlayStation Vita. So let's get started with VitaShell. So what is exactly VitaShell? VitaShell is a file manager that has a built-in FTP with capabilities and USB method transfer that allows you to install, refresh apps, and also install such things as homebrew and games. This program also allows you to install plugins, view images, play music, and much more. And this basically, VitaShell is like multi-man for PS3. So this is like the Swiss Army knife of homebrews. This is like one of the biggest homebrews I think everyone should have on their PlayStation Vita. That's like the primary top one in my case. Another homebrew we're going to be talking about today, which I say is probably the second most best in terms of what everyone needs on their PlayStation Vita, since the PS Vita, in terms of homebrew, a lot of them require plugins, and with this app called AutoPlugin, is a program for the PlayStation Vita and as well as the PS TV that contains the latest plugins such as No MPDRM, Refood, Repatch, and much more. AutoPlugin allows you to install multiple plugins at once via onto different partitions on your Vita, whether it be your memory card, aka UX0, UR0, and anything of that nature, depending on your preference. Another fun app I think that is pretty useful in my opinion, especially if you have a multitude of PlayStation accounts, is Advanced Account Switcher. So if you guys know anything about the PlayStation Vita, on your original memory card, you're usually locked down to one PlayStation Network account. However, with this homebrew app, it allows you to switch between multiple PSN accounts on that same memory card without reformatting every time. So it's very useful for me, for example, because I like to switch between PSN accounts if I'm trying to earn trophies on 2 different accounts or something like that, or if I just want to play on my other account for a while. It's just fun for me to do that without always reformatting my memory card. Another plugin we're going to be talking about today is Adrenaline. So what is exactly Adrenaline? And this is probably one of my favorite emulators of all time, other than RetroArch. And basically, Adrenaline is a homebrew that modifies the original PSP emulator that's already embedded into your PlayStation Vita using Tai-Hen CFW framework. This allows your Vita to run 6.61 PSP custom firmware and allows you to basically run PlayStation 1 and PSP games on your PlayStation Vita via using that emulator, which is pretty cool, and I'll show you guys on more about that later on to the video. The last plugin that not plugin, but the homebrew that we're going to be focusing on today in my top 5 list is RetroArch. And most of you guys probably already know what RetroArch is if you're into the emulation scene. RetroArch is basically a front end for emulators and basically a game engine, and it also has a couple of media players embedded within RetroArch. RetroArch allows you to run classic games on a wide range of devices such as the PS4, PS TV, PS3, Vita, such and so forth. And this is basically the whole holy grail of emulators since it's all in one place. So instead of downloading like a bunch of standalone applications, RetroArch kind of covers everything. So if you want to play, you know, Sega Genesis games, NES, Super Nintendo all in one place, you can. But with that being, you know, out the way and just giving a general synopsis for, you know, each homebrew that we're going to be covering today, let's go to the PlayStation Vita, and that's what I'm going to showcase on some of these applications. Alrighty guys, so we're back onto my PlayStation Vita as showcased here. What I do plan on doing for the rest of the video is just kind of bunny hopping through each homebrew application. I'm not going to really stick and show everything for each application because that will take forever. However, I will show some cool features that I personally like and just some key things that I think you guys should know if you guys are new into the PlayStation Vita homebrew scene, since these are my top 5 homebrew applications that I think everyone should have on their device. One thing I will state once again, if you are interested, everything will be in the link in the description down below. But let's go ahead and get started on the first homebrew application, which is like the Swiss Army knife for everything, as VitaShell. So if you ever guys, or excuse me, if you guys ever owned a PlayStation 3 that was modded, and you ever utilized Multiman, basically VitaShell is Multiman for the PS Vita. I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, showcase some stuff with VitaShell. So what VitaShell does is shows all of your file partitions for the PS Vita, and basically it's pretty cool that they have this in a simple format, you know, because some other file managers look, you know, very advanced, but I do like the simplistic, you know, overview and UI that VitaShell has. Some cool things that VitaShell you know, utilizes. If I hit the start menu, you could change your theme for VitaShell as well, which is pretty cool. So if I actually back out, run down to VitaShell, or back out of it and relaunch the application, you can see that you can add custom themes to VitaShell, and which I should do a video about maybe if you guys are interested in that. But you can see that VitaShell utilizes themes, which is pretty cool. If I go back into the start menu as well, you could transfer your files via with FTP or via a USB connection, which is a godsend, because sometimes, you know, if you guys ever transfer files via with your Wi-Fi, it could take forever. So if you were transferring you know, a lot of data, which I have, you know, thousands of times, it's very useful to have the USB method. One cool thing as well, VitaShell does auto update, so when there are updates for VitaShell, you can utilize that without, you know, always installing VPKs. But yeah, speaking of VPKs actually, and talking about homebrew, VitaShell is basically a place where you can install applications and load up games. So I'm just gonna, you know, install a package for you right here, aka a VPK, and then all you got to do is just install it by hitting X, and that's how usually VPKs are actually launched, and then they will just boot back into your live areas just like any other homebrew application or any Vita application. So I'll just showcase that here right here, and let me just open up the application. So yeah, here's one menu for PS Vita. You can see that I already had it installed, so that's why the bubble wasn't, you know, bouncing up and down. But yeah, that's one of the cool features that VitaShell could utilize. VitaShell as well can view pictures, which is pretty cool. I'm trying to see some other cool stuff that I can show you. VitaShell actually is a music player as well, which some people may not even know. So if I shut up for a second and play this song to the microphone, you can hear that the music is now playing. Perfect. Let me just cancel out that. But yeah, the VitaShell can actually run music. Some other cool things, if we go into the application folder here, you can actually see all of our applications installed. So if I go into Open Decrypt, which VitaShell also can do now, you can actually see, you know, your game title. So this is Gold Boy. You can actually read param.sfos, which is very useful for me sometimes if I'm trying to like find some metadata for the game. If you ever wanted to pull like the actual the background for some of these games, if you're interested in that and you want to import them to your PC, you can, which is pretty cool. Since, for example, if I try to get Gold Boy, if I launch it real quick, I just passed it, you can see that this little icon is the actual icon 0 PNG for the game. So that's some pretty cool stuff you can do within VitaShell. You can also see all of your plugins depending if you have them in UX0 or UR0. So here are all of my XKPRX plugins, and it's config.txt. And basically, just to give a quick synopsis, just to go to the next topic, VitaShell is just a all-in-one file manager that allows you to do a multitude of things. And you can bookmark stuff, you can even compress files, export media, and it's just so much stuff you can do into here. But with that being said, not trying to stick onto one topic for long, let's go into the next homebrew application. So let me run through AutoPlugin.vpk, which I feel like it's the second most best homebrew application other than VitaShell, since having plugins for your Vita is kind of like a must-have for a lot of things. So if you want to play free games, if you want to play with like a DualShock 4 controller, or if you just want to install mods or anything for your said titles, it's very important that you have the correct plugins so you could enable that for your modded PlayStation Vita or TV. Some of the plugins that I like to utilize off the back is Repatch, which allows you to mod encrypted games and install patches unofficially from Sony. So if you guys ever watched my Japanese tutorial series in terms of patching English games, this is one of the main things I utilize for this. Right now, as I'm actually recording this video, I'm using this plugin called UCDC, which basically allows me to stream my PlayStation Vita screen with the use of OBS, which this is what I'm utilizing now. I'm not using my PS TV, and this is probably one of my favorite plugin apps of all time, since recording off the PlayStation TV can be a pain. Just trying to showcase some other applications that I utilize. Oh, one cool application that I may do a showcase on, high quality screenshot plugin, which unlocks native QA screenshots from SCE shell implementation. Basically that in English, having a .bmp file as a screenshot, or basically a PNG file, is way much higher quality, and this is probably what PlayStation Vita developers use when they wanted to get official screenshots so they could showcase in magazines, actual video game like demo footage and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool application right there. Most people know of these two, or this one right here, no MPDRM. This basically bypasses the DRM protection for Vita games, aka you could play free Vita games if you want to. But yeah, essentially this is just a bunch of plugins to go over. I'll just explain one more. If you wanted to control your DualShock 3 controller, DualShock 4 on your PlayStation Vita, so if you're into fighting games like me, like Street Fighter and stuff like that, you could actually use a DualShock 4 controller within like games like Street Fighter Cross Tekken and Mortal Kombat and stuff like that if you want to. But yeah, that's essentially some plugins for the PlayStation Vita. There's also plugins for Adrenaline, and I'll speak about that later. Let's say if you wanted the undubbed version audio for Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, and y'all guys know I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan, this is a plugin that allows that. I'm also a big GTA fan, so this plugin is really cool, and I wish this was for all PlayStation PSP games. It basically upgrades the native resolution to 960 to 544, and it supports Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories, so it makes the games look much better, or not much better, but it makes it way better than what the PSP looked like. But those are some cool things you could install via from here. But with that being out the way in terms of auto plugin, I know I'm just trying to rush through things and give a quick description. Let's go on to the next one. So the main one we're going to figure out now, or talk about, is Adrenaline. Adrenaline is probably one of my favorite homebrew applications since its emulation. I love emulators, and this by far, when I first played it, it's like playing a PSP on your PS Vita. And some of y'all guys know the PlayStation Vita, already has internal PSP. So basically what this does is exploit the actual internal emulator for this, and basically ran some code or like some tie-in config to allow it to look like the GUI of a PlayStation Vita. So it's pretty cool. So if you're watching this, you probably think I'm recording off a PlayStation Portable. Nah, it's just using the actual application itself. So if I go and hold my settings right here, there's also some cool settings that Adrenaline has. There's save states, which is amazing. Color filtering, if I wanted to put smoothing on, if I wanted to have different stuff in terms of graphic filtering, I could use a DualShock 4 controller. I could skip the Adrenaline boot logo. There's some main stuff I can do in terms of just general emulation. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff. As showcased there, I already have some games of choice, so I could run PlayStation 1 titles. So I'll show right now that I can run Gran Turismo. And yeah, I just love Adrenaline, since this is how I primarily record my PlayStation Portable games for you guys for tutorials and stuff, and some times even PS1 if I want to. But yeah, here is Gran Turismo running on the actual emulator itself. I'll showcase that a PlayStation Portable game works, and most even the PSP mods work within the Adrenaline app, which is pretty crazy itself. So a lot of the original PSP plugins literally work with the actual application itself. Let me go ahead and run Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I have another reason to showcase this on my channel. Y'all guys know I'm in love with that game. Just waiting for it to do its thing. Let me turn it down because I ain't trying to get flagged by Square Enix because of the Kingdom Hearts theme song. But yeah, this is one of my favorite, all-time homebrew applications. You get the gist that, you could run PSP titles and PS1 and, even have PlayStation Portable mods and stuff via from here. So let me go ahead and back out to my live area, and we're going to talk about the next homebrew application, which is Advanced Account Switcher. What Advanced Account Switcher is basically a tool that allows you to switch between PSN accounts. So if I actually go into my friends list right now, let me just show here. Hopefully it won't show my email, or I gotta block it on my screen. So if I go on my friends list right now, it will showcase my actual PSN. So here's my PSN right here, Nagato Dev. If I were to try to switch to another account, I would have to reformat, but with this useful tool here, or if I have to relaunch it, I'm not too sure why it's not launching right now, but once I restart my Vita, I think I know why it's the issue. What I'm going to do is showcase that you can switch between accounts. So I'll come back once I get that sorted out. Alrighty, sorry, I had to restart my PlayStation Vita. Not too sure why I got that error via with an advanced account switcher. But what we're gonna do is actually, I'm gonna re-show again. If I go to my friends list, that I'm still on that Nagato Dev account, so you guys could see from start to finish that I'm not, making up a lie. So yeah, you can see that I am on Nagato Dev right now. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and switch to my other account, Nagato Zen, and then with an advanced account switcher, and this is how it basically looks like. I know it's pretty small on the screen, but there are some options right here which I'll read. One cool thing within this, you could switch to a safe account. You could remove the linked account, which you need to do before even transferring over. You could also save the actual account, and the last option here, you could change the linked AID or the account ID, or where it says here, you could run the PSN sign up application, which basically it acts like you have your PlayStation Vita for the first time, and then you could just sign in with your PSN account. Right now, you probably won't see anything on the screen since I'm gonna be blocking out this section here, since I gotta type in my actual email and then password. But once it's fully I have everything typed up on the screen, you can see that my account has successfully switched over. So voila, here is Nagato Zen. And then let's say I wanted to go back into my settings via right here, just trying to showcase and go into PlayStation Network. You'll kind of see a little bug error. I'll say my old ID until I sign in. So it says, actually it didn't. So you can see that Nagato Zen is here. If I go back into my friends list, I believe, so let me just close out my old friends list. You can see that my account has successfully switched over, which is a very useful, application, especially if you're trying to earn trophies on two accounts. So it may give a little general error, but let's see if I try to load up the actual trophy app itself. You can see that my account will probably appear in the right hand corner. So yeah, you can see if I hover over it, it'll say Nagato Zen. So yeah, you could see that my account has successfully switched over since I was originally on Nagato Dev. But yeah, that's one of my other favorite homebrew applications other than, you know, AutoPlugin, VitaShell, and Adrenaline. The last one we're going to be taking a look at is RetroArch, which is not on this PlayStation Vita since I don't want to you know, transfer too much stuff since I don't have that much data on this one. What I'm going to do is cut the video right here, go to my other Vita, and showcase RetroArch on that side of things. So give me 1 second, guys. Alrighty, sorry about that once again, guys. I just had to plug in my PlayStation Vita just to get it set up on the screen so you guys can see. So here is RetroArch, the last homebrew we're going to be talking about today, and I absolutely love RetroArch because, you know, I get to play all of my cool classic games that I used to play as a child, and also experience some other classic ROMs and stuff that I never ever got to play, and I could do that all in one place on all in one device. Plus, since the PlayStation Vita is portable, I could play, you know, games such as you know, Sonic. I could play Street Fighter on the go. I could also play, you know, classic games like Balloon Fight. So that's what's pretty cool about RetroArch. I'm just waiting for it to, you know, boot up on the screen to do its thing. So here is RetroArch, and I'm just going to showcase some cores and stuff like that. So what's pretty cool, I could launch into Streets of Rage, for example, and just, you know, run a actual ROM just from the history. And like, if you ever played, of course, RetroArch on your PC or PS3, it's pretty cool that I can, you know, run classic games. Not too sure why I still got my Game Boy border up, but let me actually take it off, which is pretty cool as well. You can actually add borders within RetroArch. So let me go to on-screen overlay, just trying to make sure that I don't have anything else on. Let me try to go into my options, just trying to verify that I don't have anything overriding this real quick. So if I go back into the game itself, yeah, so I just had to turn off the overlay, but you can see here I'm playing classic Streets of Rage on my PlayStation Vita. You know, there's no trickery. This is actually running from the RetroArch application. So I'll just show some quick gameplay of it. And then what's really cool about, you know, RetroArch, let's say I'm done playing a level, so here's just me, you know, wasting time, or, you know, not wasting time, enjoying time, I should say. And let's say I'm getting bored of Streets of Rage. What I can do, if I hold select, start, and LR at the same time, I can close out of my game and then just go to another ROM. Speaking of just cores in general, or just other embedded emulators, there's FBL Alpha, there's MAME, Atari, WonderSwan, Commodore, FB Alpha. If you wanted to play some old Game Boy Color games, you can. Super Nintendo, even the original PlayStation 1, which I recommend not using. Sega Saturn, I know it's experimental, that's the word, but yeah, there's a ton of stuff you could do. For example, let's say if I wanted to play, I don't know, I'm trying to do another system. Let's do Super Mario World. Why not? One of my favorite games. Oh, I guess I don't even have it in the playlist. Let me see if I have. We could go to the actual playlist itself since I already have the games here. If I scroll all the way down to, you know, just my playlist, you can see that you can add cover art right here. And you know, why not? We could just do a random game. For example, we could do Beavis and Butthead, for example, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and run the core. I'm not even too sure if I selected Beavis and Butthead or whatever, but you guys could kind of get the gist of, you know, be able to play whatever ROMs you want. Let's see. Oh, it actually did load, because I saw like the Beauty and the Beast cover art, so I wasn't sure if it accidentally loaded that game. But here is Beavis and Butthead for the Super Nintendo. I actually never played this game, so this is the first time I'm playing it. Oh, the graphics, oh god. But yeah, guys kind of get the gist in terms of RetroArch. It's just a all-in-one emulator. But yeah, that's essentially, you know, the end of this video. Hopefully you guys did learn something new about each of the homebrew applications. Hopefully I did teach you guys on how to I'm trying to keep a straight face. Let me pause this because Beavis and Butthead is a pretty stupid you know, television show. But yeah, essentially, hopefully you guys, you know, overall learned about these new homebrew applications, whether it be AutoPlugin, Advanced Account Switcher, Adrenaline, RetroArch, or even VitaShell. Hopefully y'all guys, you know, are interested in this video. But with that being said, my name is Nagato and I'm signing out. Thank you guys for watching and peace. Hey everyone, it's me, Nagato's Revenge here. Hope you guys did enjoy today's video. With that being out the way as well, I highly do recommend that y'all guys go ahead and follow my social media so you never miss any of the latest hacking guides and tutorials on my channel by subscribing to me and hitting that notification button as well. It's another method on how you will know when I drop my latest content, whether it be for the Vita, PS4, PS3, and such and so forth. As well, if you want to be in the mix of things and you want to join my official community, you can join via the link right now showcased on the screen and join my Discord that way. And if you do want to support my channel in any shape or form, you could become a patron. I will have a card right now. But with all of that getting out the way, hope you guys really did enjoy this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Nice and silky smooth.